Hi everyone, I'm Needlecraft Danny. This is flosstube number 125 and I'm back from my vacation with some whips. I actually have some haul. I think it's been probably about half a year since I last had some haul, so very exciting. So I'm going to show you that in the end of the video, and first I'm going to talk about my whips and of course my plans. So last time we spoke, and last time I did my video, I said I was hoping to have some time left that day to stitch on a specific project, and also to stitch on it for Saturday and yesterday on Sunday, and it just never happened. There were a few minutes, maybe 1 or 2 hours, where I could have stitched, and I just did not feel like stitching. I preferred reading, so I did that. I did not want to force myself to do some stitching or anything like that, so I just decided not stitching, done with that, moving on to reading. And now that I'm back from my vacation and it's a new week starting today, I'm going to start with my new rotation. So let's look at the projects I stitched on while I was on my vacation. I had 2 projects with me. I did stitch on both of them a little bit. And the first one is my normal travel project, the one I take with me normally to work, but also whenever I think the chance for some stitching might arise. And of course, it had to go with me on my vacation. The project is Sleepy Hollow by London Place, and this is going to be the finished piece. And I show a picture of what it looked like last time here. And this is where I got to. So I did not do a whole lot, but better than nothing. Basically, last time you saw it, I had some black thread still hanging over here. I finished that thread. Not quite finished the bed, but I'm close. And then I moved back into this band over here. I finished the skulls, and now I'm working on the pumpkins. Those 2 pumpkins are done, and those 2 still need some cross stitching, and then all of those motifs still need back stitching. So yeah, as I said, not a whole lot. I think maybe the day I arrived and the day I was leaving. Those were the 2 days I did some stitching on this one while I waited for my room, and when I had already needed to leave my room and still had some time left before I went back home. So those were the times I stitched on this one. It is stitched on 28 count casual linen in the colorway Haunted by Picture This Plus. I'm stitching 2 over 2 full crosses, and I'm stitching with the called for anchor colors. It is charted in Anchor, and then there's a conversion on it for DMC and one for Sullivan's USA. And as Anchor is easier to get here in Germany, I decided to just stitch it in Anchor as it is charted in. So yeah, needleminder is from Denka Designs, and I'm very happy about that. On Thursday, I'm going back to work. So of course, this is coming back to work with me, and hopefully soonish I will be able to finish that border. That would be nice. Below that bed over here, there's 1 more pumpkin and 1 more of those skulls, and then there's the spider web in the corner like it is up here, and then there's the bottom row. So getting closer and closer to finishing that border, and I can't wait for that. Because then I will actually start on the picture in the middle, and yeah, that's going to be a bit more exciting than the borders. Okay, and the second project I took with me on my vacation is also the project I always start my week with. On Mondays, I stitch on my oldest full coverage piece and on a golden kite. My 3 oldest full coverage pieces are all golden kites, so that always works out. I also took it with me on vacation. The project I talk about is Calling the Mountains by Golden Kite, as I wanted to wait for the afternoon sun, so I get the sun from here and not from there. Sorry. The light is better if I get the sun from over there, so I decided to wait till the afternoon, and I have already stitched on this one today, and I already got to a very good stopping point. So for now, I'm not going to stitch on this one today anymore. Maybe I start early with tomorrow's project. I haven't figured that out yet, but it's the most likely version to start on tomorrow's project a bit earlier. Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen. But first, I show a picture of what this one looked like before my vacation. And this is where I got to. So since you said last, on my vacation, I think I finished the column I had started, did one more column, and now today I did that last column over there, which means I'm at a page finish. I have finished that page over here, which was page 6, not my 6th page, but page number 6. And now there's only page 7 missing up here. And I have already stitched a few stitches in that page just because I had a little bit of thread on my needle and wanted to finish it and not park it anymore, or because the row of stitches just continued and I did not want to stop in the middle, just continue until it stopped naturally because there's another color next to it. So yeah, you can see those stitches, I think. Down here there are some stitches, those over here. 14 more stitches to the right, and that will be the edge of the complete of the pattern. So that's very exciting. I'm really looking forward to that. But my next page will be that one in here. I'm going to continue with my diagonal pages. So 2 more page finishes, and then I can start on page 7 up here, which is the page I'm actually waiting for. But yeah, that's Colorway Mountains at the moment. It is stitched on a 25 count even weave. I'm stitching 2 over 110 stitches, needleminder from Denka Designs. Those pages up here, or that last page up here, was actually super fast, mostly because there are not a whole lot of colors, but I love the effect and the way it looks. But yeah, not a whole lot of colors, so a bit faster. I'm coming back down here into the mountain area. Those pages are so full of confetti. I'm not exactly looking forward to that. But yeah, it will take a bit longer, but I'm also very excited to keep going and get this picture done. My goal for this year is to finish this piece, and I still need 8 pages. 8 pages to actually finish my goal. And so far, I think I did 3 or 4. That's not a lot, and half the year is already done. So I really have to get going and do some more on this. I think at the beginning of the year, I estimated that I need about 30,000 stitches to finish it. I don't have the exact numbers because I don't use Pattern Keeper on this. I stitch from a paper pattern. I estimated about 30,000 stitches, and now I finished 9,000. There's still a lot left to do to actually finish this piece. But I'm looking forward to it, and yeah, coming back to this one next week. Because as I said, today I already stitched on it, and especially with a page finish, I always have that really small finish hangover, but I don't feel like starting the next page anymore today. So as I said, maybe another project, or maybe I just read for the rest of the day or do something else. Yeah, not sure if I'm going to stitch, and if I'm going to stitch, it's not going to be on Colorway Mountains anymore. Okay, and that's everything I stitched on. Not a whole lot, as I said. It has been a vacation. I was on a cruise, so basically, or nearly every day, I was in another city, and yeah, I wanted to get out and look at the cities and not sit in my room or in my cabin and stitch. Of course, I did stitch a bit if I had the time or when we were on our way to the next city, stuff like that. But yeah, just I wanted to experience stuff and be out and not stitch the whole time, which I hope is understandable. So yeah, that's been that. So now let's move to plans, what I'm going to stitch on for the rest of the week. I'm back to my normal rotation, and this year my rotation is Monday, my oldest full coverage piece, which I've already done. Tuesday, oldest non-full coverage piece. On Wednesday and Thursday, I stitch on a Whipco project that has been called That Month. This month, so in June, both projects called for in Whipco. Oh, I probably should explain Whipco. Whipco is basically a bingo board with your projects on there. Every month, 2 squares get called, and then you can decide if you do a monthly goal. I have my year-end goals on there, so I just try to give those projects a little bit of attention during that month. The projects called this month in June for me were, first of all, Supersize Max Color Once Upon a Fairy Tale. I finished my goal on that one, I think, in March. So I don't want to stitch on it again until I'm finished with all my goals on all my projects. And that's quite a bit to go still. So I'm not going to stitch on that one. And the second project called was Hello Petal by Caterpillar Cross Stitch. And I finished that project in February or March, beginning of the year. So both of those projects not going to stitch on this month. So instead of stitching on a Whipco called for this month on Wednesday and Thursday, I'm stitching on Whipco called not finished during those 2 days. On Friday and Saturday, once again, Whipco called not finished. Basically, I have the Tiny Decisions app, and there you can create a wheel, and all my projects, Whipco called not finished, are in a wheel. And I'm going to spin 2 times, 1 time for Wednesday and Thursday, and 1 time for Friday and Saturday. And on Sunday, my rotation is a random whip. Random whip means not all of my whips, but the whips I have not finished my goal on yet. So at the moment, I have 14 whips in total, but only 9 of those I haven't finished my goal on yet. So those 9 are in a separate wheel, and that's the wheel I spin for Sundays. Okay, as I said, I already stitched on Colorway Mountains for oldest full coverage piece today. Tomorrow, oldest non-full coverage piece will be Raven Queen by Mirabilia. So this is going to be the finished piece I'm stitching in the background over here at the moment, and that's where I want to continue stitching. So I show you where I'm at with her. So this is where I'm at. As I said, I'm stitching over here at the moment. It would be really amazing to finish that part tomorrow. Maybe if I get a head start today, that would be actually a nice goal. She is stitched on 32 count gray linen. I'm stitching 2 over 2 full crosses, needleminder from Denka Designs. And when I'm done with that part over here, I want to stitch the border before I then move on to her dress. But yeah, that's her at the moment. Stitching on her tomorrow and maybe today. I kind of like that idea. I might do that. I'm not sure yet. It might happen. You will know the answer to that next month when I'm back for my next video. Okay, then on Wednesday, I'm going to stitch on Whipco called not finished. Because Thursday, I'm going to stitch on something else. I talk about that in a minute. For Wednesday, Whipco called not finished. Starry Keep the Frog Prince got called. It started by Heaven and Earth Designs. The artwork is by Melanie Dellen. This is going to be the finished piece. So let me show you where I'm at with that. I think the last time I stitched on this one was actually in March. So it's definitely time I come back to this. This is where I'm at. I stitched this in diagonals, 10 by 10 blocks. And I'm presently over here. So I'm going to continue over there, stitch a bit of hair, and then a lot of background. Not going to finish the diagonal, but this is where I continue stitching. She is stitched on a 32 count light blue linen, and I'm stitching 2 over 1/10 stitch needleminder from Denka Designs. I have a whole lot of fabric left over here. Not going to cut it at the moment, because I still want to wait until I decide which project I'm going to put there. Maybe another Story Keep from Melanie Dellen. Because then I have to see how much margin I actually have left, and maybe I have to do a lot less than 3 inches to get a second project over here. I don't want to waste that much fabric. So yeah, this is where I'm at with the Frog Prince at the moment. And on this one, I think I have a ton of stitches left to finish my year-end goal. So I think about 6,000 maybe. So it's definitely time I get back to this one and start stitching on it. And I really enjoy this project also, so that's another reason I should go back to stitching on this. And then on Thursday, as I said, I have something else planned. Well, on Thursday, it's my birthday, and it's also the birthday of a project I started in 2020 for my birthday. The project in question is Cinderella Rags to Riches by John Elliott. Basically, there are two patterns in that one chart pack. You can either stitch it separate or combined. I'm stitching the combined version. And last year I finished Cinderella in Rags, and this year I want to finish Cinderella in Riches. And so far I have not done a whole lot yet. But it's my birthday, it's the project's birthday, so I'm going to stitch on this. If any of you want to join me in stitching on a fancy lady, you're very welcome to do so. Not going to post on Instagram because I'm really bad with that. But yeah, I'm going to stitch on Cinderella on Thursday. So let me show you where I'm at with her. Oops. I always lose my needle minder on this project. I don't know what it's. Okay, so this is where I'm at. As I said, Cinderella in Rags is completely done. Show you that part over here. So that's all done. And I'm now stitching on Cinderella in Riches. And as you can see, there's a whole lot missing. Not sure exactly what I'm going to do. Normally I pick the highest symbol up and then stitch one length of thread before I move on. But there are quite a bit of swirls and krennic above her head that I did not do yet, and quite a lot of beads that I did not do yet. So maybe I do that, or I just continue stitching and maybe finish her face first. But she has a lot of beads in her crown missing as well, so that would also be nice to stitch. So yeah, not exactly sure what I'm going to do with those two. They are stitched on a 28 count casual linen by Pictures Plus in the colorway Fog, and I'm stitching 2/2 full crosses with all the called for materials, so all the krennic and beads that are called for. And of course the DLC. Yeah, that's those two. And I think the last time I stitched on this one was once again in March. So definitely time I come back to this, especially considering I want to finish it this year. And this dress is big and a lot of stitching, so we'll see about that. Okay, and then on Friday and Saturday it's another whip goal called Not Finished, and on Sunday it's a random whip. And I spun those two separate wheels, and the same whip got decided for both. So I'm going to stitch 3 days on the Chimney Sweep by Golden Kite. This is going to be the finished piece. I show you where I'm at, and normally that one's not super exciting for you because I stitched Extreme Cross Country, picking my colors in the top left corner, and it's all white so far. Last time I stitched on this one, I finished the colors, so I'm going to pick the next one. On page 1, I go down the columns, top to bottom, left to right, and whichever symbol is missing, first I'm finishing that symbol over the whole project. And I think the next symbol missing will be in here. Yeah, that's right. In here, that will be the next symbol. And I think it's another off-white. But with 3 days, I really hope to make some good progress, maybe do more than 1,000 stitches. That would be really amazing, because I think with 1,000 or maybe 1,500, I will have reached my halfway point for my year-end goal on this one. Considering close to half the year is done, that would be really nice. So this is stitched on 25 count light blue even weave, and I'm stitching 2/1 10 stitches. Needleminder is from Danka Designs, and I know for you it's kind of boring, but I really love this piece. And I really love how it's coming together, all the whites first. Okay, so that's that, and those are all my plans for next week. I will be back on Monday next week. my plans for this week, and next week on Monday I will be back with another video. But first, I still have to show you all my haul. So as I said, I was on a cruise, and the last city we visited was Rotterdam in the Netherlands. And here in Germany, there are a few online shops for stitching, and I think there are some very rare local needlework shops. Mostly you get yarn and stuff for knitting, crochet, you get fabric for sewing, but you don't really get cross-stitch supplies. You may get some embroidery, but not really cross-stitch itself. So I knew when I wanted to go to Rotterdam, I really wanted to visit a stitching shop, and I did. There is, on one of those projects, there is the name of it. I think it was crcouture.nl. And they had a shop close to Rotterdam, and I visited, and I was so excited. I was in there for about an hour. I went off the ship and I figured out how to get to that shop, and the easiest way basically was to just take a taxi. So I took a taxi and went to that shop, and when we arrived there, the taxi driver was like, "You have to get back to Rotterdam later on, right?" "Yeah." "How long do you need in the shop?" "About an hour." "Well, okay, he's going to take his break, and he will be back in an hour and take me back with him to Rotterdam." And I was like, that sounds great. So that was actually exactly what we did. And he gave me an hour and 8 minutes. After 58, I was done. So I waited a bit longer for him to get there, and we drove back to Rotterdam. Of course, I had to pay both drives, but nevertheless, I was really happy to have that easy solution. And those 58 minutes in the shop, I was super amazed. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot of cross-stitching, and at first when I went in, I saw the DMC, and otherwise I did not see a whole lot, and I was a little disappointed. So I first looked at the yarn for like 2 minutes and decided, well, I do have more than enough yarn. Let's look at least at the DMC and what else they have. And when I actually went into that area, they had a ton of kits. And I spent way too much money, but I could have spent so much more. So I did buy a few things. First of all, I did buy DMC. Basically, sorry for twinkling, a ton of DMC. I have a master set of DMC with all the colors. And then I have, those are on bobbins. And then I have a second set of DMC, just the skeins, and whenever I take the last skein out of my second master set to wind on the bobbin, I write that number down. So whenever I'm at a shop where I can get DMC, I know which numbers to get to fill up the second master set. So I had, I think, 7 colors that I needed to get. And then I saw all those DMC variations and DMC colors, I think, that I did not get before. I did not see it in Germany yet. So basically, I got 1 skein of each. One color, I got 2 skeins. I don't remember where it is in here. But 1 skein I did get 2 because I have a project in mind that I might use that. And I'm going to talk about that in a bit. Sorry for bumping the camera. Way too much stuff. So the project I had in mind, I'm going to talk about it now. For that skein where I got 2, is it this one? No. Basically is a remembrance piece for my grandpa. If you watched the last of my videos, you might know that my grandparents both died over the last 3 months. My grandpa died in February, and my grandma died in May. So I want to stitch a remembrance piece for both of them, and I'm going to start that piece on their respective death anniversary. Is it called death anniversary? I'm not sure. But I'm going to do that. And for both of them, I had something in mind. And for my grandpa, I already searched on the internet and did not find anything. So I'm going to actually chart something myself. I'm going to chart a cod, a fish. My grandpa had this this poem he always told us. It's super simple, super silly for all the Germans. Der Kabeljau by Heinz Erhardt. Super dumb poem, basically. A bit funny. But my grandpa, at least every second time you visited him, you would hear this poem. So I decided, in remembrance for him, I'm going to stitch a cod. And I had that in mind. I know I'm going to chart it, and I know I want to stitch it either white or an off-white color, because maybe half a year or a year back, I received some fabric from Kaylee. She's the sewingshop.ca. I'm going to put that somewhere in here. And she sent me a 55 count, really beautiful fabric. I probably should have brought it. It's a black and purpley red fabric mix. Super pretty. And with an off-white or white on there, that would look pretty amazing, I'm pretty sure. So I'm planning to do that. And then I bought some, what's it called? One of those metallics in 415 and one Seta 50-100. Not sure which one I'm going to use, but one of those I'm going to use to stitch my grandpa's details, name and dates on there. Whichever fits better with the off-white thread is the word I choose to stitch the cod. I'm going to pick one of those to stitch his details. And for my grandma, I then wanted to do some poppies. Basically, for every birthday I had, she would get me some poppies. And there's also that kind of funny story. My grandparents were in their car and they drove along the road, and my grandma saw a field with poppies. So she told my grandpa he had to stop the car. She had to get out and get those poppies. So she did. And I have no idea how she did it. She managed to fall into the field and hurt both her ankles. My grandpa, the gentleman that he was, started laughing instead of helping him. In the end, he did help her out. But my grandma wasn't happy about it. She was in pain. So basically, they drove back without any poppies. But for me, I really wanted to stitch some poppies for her. And I found a really beautiful kit, and I did buy some, what's it called? The E310. There is a name. Etoile. So 310 etoile to stitch her details on that kit whenever I finished it. So yeah, that's all of that. I'm going to pack that away, and then we talk about all the other stuff I bought. It's not a whole lot left, so don't worry. Have to sort that sometime else. Maybe I could do that today. Don't know yet. Okay, next thing I bought is this thing. Basically, it's a metallic plate and two of those magnets, so you can put a paper pattern in between, and then you can mark the space where you're at the moment. So I might use that for some of my paper patterns. Might come in handy, for example, on the Chimney sweep, especially stitching extreme cross country. That might help. So I thought I would take this one with me. And then I got 4 kits. The first one is a Bothy thread kits. It's one of those Randall designs. I wanted to have one of those for quite some time, but I never really saw any place that had a huge variety of them, so I could not really decide which one I wanted to get. And that shop did have quite a few, so I bought one of those, and I bought Hanging Around. No clue when I'm going to start this, probably not anytime soon, but someday I'm going to stitch it. The next one I got was this one, Merika, maybe, is the company. And basically it's Dutch windmills, and I thought it's the first time I really visited a stitching shop, and I was in the Netherlands, and I saw some windmills, so why not buy Dutch windmills? It is some 18 count, I think, 16 count Ada in here, and all the thread cards, I think close to 40 colors. So yeah, that's going to be quite a bit of fun. But again, no clue when I'm going to start it. The next one is another Merika called Field Poppies. This one actually was one I thought about stitching for my grandma as well, before I found a better one. Once again, close to 40 colors over here. All on bobbins, so I really like that. And also 16 count Ada. So once again, not sure when I'm going to start this. And the last one is the one I'm going to stitch for my grandma. It's this one. I think the company is Luca S. And yeah, beautiful puppies, and I think the black will really work nicely to stitch on their details. Probably 2-stranded backstitch or something like that to stitch on grandma's details. And this is the shop I visited. So for anyone close to Rotterdam or visiting Rotterdam, I liked it. Yeah, so that's all I got. I think it's enough. Basically, I could have spent so much more money in there, but I did not want to. I actually did not plan to buy as much DMC. DMC was the last thing I went to, because first I roamed through all the kits. I think I had that many kits in my arms, and then I started to shrink it down because I did not want to buy as much. But I really enjoyed being there. I have plans to someday go to Amsterdam. From Amsterdam to Rotterdam, it's not that far, so I might visit there as well again. I really liked Rotterdam as a city. One of the stops on the cruise was Brugge. I really wanted to go there because I did not get off the ship. We only had, I think, 7 or 8 hours. And most of the time it rained pretty badly, and I did not want to walk around in the rain. So I definitely have to go back to Brugge to really visit that city. So those are my plans, and really happy with all the kits I got. Really happy that I have now decided on remembrance pieces for my grandparents, and that's going to be something I do next year, because this year is my year of old projects and also my year of finishes, and next year will be the year of new starts. I want to do at least 12, probably some more. So yeah, we'll see about that. And those 2 pieces will be one of those 2 starts. So yeah, that's it. Talked long enough about basically nothing. So I hope you enjoyed. And as I said, I will be back next Monday with my next video. And yeah, stay safe, stay healthy. See you then. Bye.